It's time for the Doug Garrison Show. This week, Doug learns about Black History Month with the representative of Northern's Black Student Union. We hear about a program in Ishpeming geared towards bringing former Catholics back to the church. Doug gets an update on the progress of Marquette City Charter Commission. And Jess Copeman performs. Hey, that's me. Stick around. The Doug Garrison Show starts now.
Tell the host 2 minutes. Stand by live to tape. Lighting to show level, please. Confirm front of house sound, PFL. Roll tape on masters, channel to places. Alright, let's clear the set. Cue John music, open stage mics, standby effects, standby CG. Standby to open on 3, 2. Alright folks, let's have a good show. Stand by, roll it in.
Alright. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us here at Upfront and Company and at home on Charter Channel 12 and Fox UP. You know, I'm excited. This is my favorite weekend of the winter here in Marquette County coming up. It's Sled Dog Weekend, and I think that's got everybody kind of fired up. You know, there's been some changes this year, but that's okay. We're still going to have sleds taking off from downtown Marquette Friday night. They're still going to be going through Marquette County, through Alger County, out to Grand Marais. There's still going to be all the other ancillary events that take place with Sled Dog Weekend. We've also got the Glacier Glide. We had those people on last week, Jack Dio, to talk about that. That's a Saturday afternoon event. And there's another event I wanted to mention too, because if you have a lot of kids, and you're looking for something to do that might not cost you a lot of money, well, Saturday morning at 11 o'clock at the Marquette Commons is the Kitty Mutt Race. The Noon Kiwanis of Marquette runs this event. It's a great event. If you've got kids but no dog, come on down. There's usually a dog that needs some kids. If you've got a dog and no kids, bring your dog down, and we'll find some kids at a sled for them. But it's free, and it's a great time. Your kids will just love it because everybody loves the dogs, and they get a chance to actually commandeer a sled and take part in sled dog festivities. So, make sure that if you haven't been to some of these events, check it out. You know, don't just sit on your couch all winter throughout Marquette County. Get out, find a spot where you can watch this sled dog race. Come on to downtown Marquette for the start, or pick a spot along the trail somewhere between Friday night and Sunday when they finish it up. And I think you'll enjoy it just as much as I do. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, so I'm not going to stand here and babble on. Just make sure you get involved. All right, we're going to get to it. We've got 3 neat things that are going to be very informational for you, and we've got some a great singer named of Jess Copeman joining us later, so stick around for that. We'll be right back. The Doug Garrison Show is brought to you in part by Bell Hospital and Bell Rehab Services. Safely take the road to physical recovery with Bell Rehab Services. And by Iron Bay Computer and Design. Iron Bay gives you the quality and service you demand. And by Peninsula Glass and Auto Sales. For complete glass repair and replacement, for everything from auto and home to heavy equipment, and a great selection of quality pre-owned vehicles, see Peninsula Glass and Auto Sales on US 41 in Ishpeming. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. There's a month for everything now. Everything's got its own month or week or day. Well, February is Black History Month, and I'm happy to have with us Lydia Wells. Lydia, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You are the Vice President of the Northern Black Student Union.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank
Vice
you.
President is good. You got a title without all the responsibility. But where are you from, Lydia?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Where?
Detroit.
Detroit. Okay. All right. We got. All right. We have some Detroiters in the crowd. Good. How'd you happen to find Northern?
I have no idea.
That's what happened to me too.
Yeah.
You just kind of end up here.
Yeah. Pretty
and
much.
you're a sophomore.
Yeah.
And how do you like Marquette?
It's okay. It's nice. It's small.
Yeah.
Personal.
Compared to Detroit.
Compared to Detroit.
Okay. You guys, your Black Student Union has different events to celebrate Black History Month. But why, in your words, why is it important to celebrate Black history with a month?
Well, I think it's important to give insight on Black history. You'll be surprised how many people don't know about Black history, or if there is a month to celebrate Black history. So it's just to give awareness and insight on what we have been through and what we're doing now.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be surprised because it's kind of, back in the days of the civil rights efforts, it was very much on the front page and very much in people's minds. And this is before your time, back in, I'm talking 60s and 70s. But it doesn't get a lot of attention anymore because we're so involved with politics and the economy and our wars. So I agree. I think it's important to set aside this time. One of the things that you're doing, Friday night you have a mock slave auction. The reason for that, why did you decide to do a mock slave auction?
Well, actually, it's a co-sponsoring event between BSU, the Latino Student Union, the residents, staff, and Spalding and Gant. One of the members of the residence hall thought that we should have something that pretty much put everything on the table and give people that real feel of what happened back in the day. And we just collaborated in the slave auction.
I think it's one thing to actually just read about this stuff in books, but to actually kind of do a little representation, a play, so to speak, and recreate it. Some people, the participants and people who are spectators, might get a little different idea about what people went through. Slavery obviously was a terrible time in our history. Do you see any lasting effects of slavery in our culture today? What are some lasting effects?
I think the sad part about it is many people don't think that they are pretty much still enslaved nowadays. It's very, very important for people to overcome the past and, celebrate now and do better things. And it's just, I don't know.
What do you think about the situation of race relations today between blacks and whites in our country? Where do you think we are?
They have majorly improved since, of course, back in the day. But I think we're, getting along now, and we learn to love each other, and just live in the world together and have peace and love. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
I'd like to think that young white people are certainly have put kind of this racist past behind them. Are young black people of that same mind? Are they the friends and your associates that are young black people? Do they accept white people as just American citizens just like themselves?
Yeah, of course. I think more people today do that certain thing, but of course you still have certain people that still lives in the past and still have that certain mindset, whether black, white, or anything,
Malcolm X said, don't hate the white man because he's white, because there's nothing he can do about that. And I thought that was a great statement. And that's the basis of racism, just hating someone based on the color of their skin. It makes no sense. Do you feel, do you sense discrimination in your day-to-day life?
Not really.
No.
There have been some times,
sure,
unfortunately, but
generally speaking,
no.
Pretty good. Yeah. Well, we don't have a lot of black people in the Upper Peninsula. And I'm not, we certainly, we love diversity. So it's great to see black people coming to Northern. I'm glad Northern's here to attract people from downstate. And hopefully you feel as though this is just as much your country as it is ours. And, one of the things that I always think about Dr. King, it seems that they take Dr. King and his national holiday and say, this is kind of a holiday for black people. I don't feel that way at all. That's an American holiday. We all should celebrate the contributions of Dr. King.
Exactly.
Okay, well, you've got this slave auction Friday night.
Yes.
Okay, so someone can go down and watch some of the sled dogs take off. The slave auction is in the Gant Spalding lobby at 7 p.m. Lydia will be there with some of her friends. If you want to stop in and check it out, it'd be very worthwhile. Okay. Lydia, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hopefully you have a good Black History Month and spread the word. All right, thank you very much. Lydia Wells, thank you very much, Lydia. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about religion, so stick around. We'll be right back. All right.
Guess what? You can get any new or used car financed at the Marquette Community Federal Credit Union for 3.9% APR. New or used. Got your eye on this new Escalade? 3.9%. How about this 75 Gremlin? 3.9%. Looking at this stylish Dodge Dart? 3.9%. How about a new Chevy Cruze? 3.9%. RV, boat, tractor? 3.9%. What about this DeLorean time machine? 3.9%. 3.9% auto loans new and used at the Marquette Community Federal Credit Union. Stop in and apply today.
Okay. All right. We've got another good crowd here at Up Front and Company. Come on down and join us. We're here on Tuesday nights. We have a good time. All right. With us is Bruce Sanders, and Bruce is with Catholics Returning Home.
Right.
Bruce, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're actually a member of St. Joseph's Church in Ishpeming.
Correct.
But you're with this organization, which you tell me is a national organization, that the idea is to bring Catholics who have left the church back to the church, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, how do you go about that?
Well, we have a series of informal meetings, which are held once a week on Thursday. It's going to be on Thursday evenings, beginning next week on February 23rd at St. Joseph Church in the Father Willette Room, which is right inside the main door of the church. And anybody who's been away from the church for a while is welcome to attend, and we encourage them to do so. We're not going to twist their arm, but we will answer their questions and address their concerns, and hopefully they'll get the message and we'll return.
Sure. Now, you said that you had left the church
Yes.
for a time. Why did you leave the church?
Doug, I left the church because in my adult life, we lived away from Ishpeming most of the time. I grew up in Ishpeming, but we were all over the country, moving from here to there. And since the moves were frequent, I most of the time didn't bother to get involved. Okay. And unfortunately, when I returned home to Ishpeming, that same trend continued.
Sure.
Until a little over 2 years ago, when my daughter and my aunt both asked me to consider coming back to church. And then the program was run, and I attended it myself. Okay. And since then, I've gotten very involved with the church. So.
Why do most people leave the church? You didn't leave because of problems with the orthodoxy of the church, but
No.
Why do most people leave?
Most people leave, I think, a lot of times it's because they're so wrapped up in physical activity these days that it gets put on the back burner
So it
sometimes.
just gets out of their routine.
Gets out of their routine. Others, I believe a common problem is kids when they're growing up have mom at home to get them up to go to church in the morning. They go to college or go away from home for the first time. They don't have that. And it's easy to get lazy, and first thing you know, they're not practicing their faith.
Yeah. So now there are some people who leave the church because they do disagree with some of the ways the church is going. Right. And you guys have been in the news a lot lately with the issues with the insurance coverage and other issues. When people have decided they want to leave because they don't agree with some of the policies of the church, is that something you deal with as well?
We're not so concerned in why they left. We're concerned about getting them back again. And whatever their reason for leaving, we're not judgmental, okay? We just invite them to come back and take another look. Yeah. Because we find from surveys that have been done that most non-practicing Catholics want to come back, but they don't come back unless somebody shows an interest in them and invites them to return. Yeah. So we make it a point to really talk to people, our friends, our relatives, our neighbors, whoever it might be, before the program starts, and ask them to talk to those people and have them come along and give it a try. Even come to the first meeting with them if necessary, because people are afraid to come back.
Sure. Now, you indicated both two Catholic churches in Ishpeming are involved in this.
Right.
And it's a nationwide program. Correct.
It's not done in every parish in the country, but a lot of parishes, some in the UP. I'm not sure how many, but I know they just finished the program at Escanaba, for example.
Now, I know a lot of churches, Catholic churches nationwide, have closed, particularly in some big markets. I just read this weekend in the Detroit area, many of the parishes are closing for financial reasons. Of course, Detroit's lost so much population, that's the big factor there. But are there financial issues, concerns with UP churches?
I would imagine there are, to some extent.
Just like reflecting the general economy.
Yes, but I do know that the Marquette Diocese last year had a $10 million goal fund drive and succeeded in attaining the goal in pledges. So I think we're in pretty good shape here.
Great. Well, I know I'm not a Catholic myself. I know many Catholics, some of the most spiritual people on earth. And it's a worldwide religion, accepting people of all nationalities and colors. So certainly you've got something to offer. Is there anything that you tell people that is kind of a hook? Here's why you should come back. Here's what the church is doing different that you need to be involved in or need to be clued in on?
Yes, because there are changes that take place. It's It's continually evolving,
Sure.
okay? The basic tenets of the church never change.
Right.
But the way it's done have changed. And in fact, just recently, beginning of November, at the beginning of Advent season, some changes in the language during the Mass
I saw that.
have been done.
More
so that's
traditional.
a change.
Yeah.
So
There's reasons to give it another look.
Yes.
Well, good luck with
Absolutely.
that. It's Catholics Returning Home. Your first meeting, you said, is Thursday, the 23rd.
Right.
And
7 p.m.
Everyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome. And don't drive up to the door and then get scared.
Yeah, come on in. You're very welcome.
We're
Okay.
not. We don't bite.
All right, good luck with it. Catholics Returning Home.
Thank
Bruce,
you very
thank
much.
Good
Appreciate
luck with
the
that.
time.
Okay. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little politics, uncharted waters. Okay, stick around. All right, good job.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could try something before you buy it? At Appliance and Furniture Rental, you can. Pick anything in the store and take it home for $10. No additional charges, just $10. Take home a new TV, a new washer and dryer. Take home a new entertainment center. Take home a new computer. Take home the new HD TV. There's never a credit problem, and just $10 takes it away. If you don't love it, bring it back or keep it. The choice is always yours at Appliance and Furniture Rental.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. With us now is Bob Kulishek. Bob, thanks for joining us. You've got a history of being involved in local politics. You're on the city commission, I think.
I was on city commission. I was mayor.
You were mayor, okay. And you're kind of the go-to guy for political questions I see on the local news. So, but now you're involved with the city, the charter commission. You're rewriting, or at least you're charged with doing something to the charter. Explain what's happening.
Okay, well, the city charter of Marquette has been in operation for approximately 60 years.
So it should be good. It's done.
It served the city well, but it's become outdated.
Time for
There's
a change.
a number of things that need to be changed in it. So as we move into the 21st century, we'll have a charter that will really serve the city well.
Yeah. What's the process?
Okay, to begin with, last summer, we had first put the issue onto the ballot, asking if people wanted to rewrite the charter. And overwhelmingly, people said, yes, it should be rewritten. At the same time that happened, they also elected a 9-person charter commission. And the charter commission now, which I've been selected as chair, is going through the charter line by line and making changes as appropriate. Now,
Are there some things in this charter that you could cite to me right now that are obviously need to be changed, that were just, bad?
It was really interesting as we started going through the charter and found some of the things that were in need of change. For example, this charter was written in 1950 using $1950 for purposes of bidding. Mm-hmm. So if you had something in 1950 that was worth $1, that now is worth $10. So we have to go through the charter and change this in such a way as to bring it up to current values. Now, the best way to do this is probably not to cite a particular dollar value in the charter, but rather to simply set this as something that the city commission can set by ordinance.
When you look at the charter now, are there some areas where you think that I'm talking about now the form of government that we have with our elected city commission and the mayor elected by that commission? That's a unique form of government, I think, but it seems to work well. Is that something you're going to tamper with?
Okay, well, next time we meet, February 22nd, the topic of conversation that evening is going to be form of government.
Okay.
So we would encourage people to come to the meeting, which takes place at 6 o'clock in City Commission chambers. And if they have ideas as to changes in the form of government, we would like to hear that. Now, we have also just completed 8 hours of public hearings, and people talked about a number of issues. One of the things we've drawn from that is there's not a great groundswell of public opinion saying change the system of government.
Yeah.
The basic system of government with a manager and commission seems to be working well for the city. As we go through and look at there could be fine tuning that could be done But unless people have different opinions, that is probably not something we're going to change.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. You mentioned the meetings. Now, if people visit the city website, they can see your meeting schedule. But you invite the public to participate in these meetings.
We encourage the public to come down because this Charter Commission will produce a draft of the charter, which will be on the ballot next November if everything goes as planned. It is extremely important that the people of Marquette have a feeling of ownership and they understand the charter as it's being developed, because we're going to ask them, yes or no, do they want to support it? This is the time, however, they can come in with specific suggestions, which we will take into consideration.
So we always talk about wanting public input, and here it is again. If you don't come down and speak your mind, don't complain about it later on. Get involved.
Well, you can always complain, but it would certainly be helpful if you would participate up front.
It won't do you any good. The meeting schedule, as I said, is posted on the website. Come on down, check it out. Do you find people are very familiar with the charter anyway?
Well, most people don't spend a lot of time thinking about the charter unless they have difficulty with it. So the people who have been talking with us are oftentimes people who have some specific interest in it and some understanding of an issue that needs to be addressed. So it's an education process that the Charter Commission has to go through to bring this to the attention of the people, because this is going to be the foundation document, if approved, that's going to guide the city for decades.
Yeah, a long time. Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Well, and you're working, I mentioned this Kitty Mutt race in my open. Bob is going to be down there working the Kitty Mutt race. He agrees it's a great event. So we'll see.
The Kiwanis Kitty Mutt race is something we want to
That's right. It's a great event.
Encourage people to attend.
Bob, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Good luck with the charter and have fun at the Kitty Mutt race this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, stick around. When we come back, Jen Copeman's going to be here, so don't go away. All right. All right. Good job.
Doing business in Upper Michigan is more important than ever. As consumers, supporting the UP economy is something we can all embrace. Each year, Gilbert Dairy buys $7 million of unprocessed milk from UP dairy farmers. We invest and sponsor a wide variety of community events, and our annual payroll adds another $2 million to our fragile economy. Remember that the next time you visit your local grocery store. Gilbert Dairy, pouring $9 million annually into the UP economy, 1 gallon at a time.
All right, tonight's music segment is brought to you by Jim's Music and Teaching Center, where music makes you smarter. All right, you know, we're always looking for good musical acts here on the show, and in my talking to people who know the music scene in the area, I kept hearing the same name over and over. Have you talked to Jen Copeman? Have you had Jen Copeman on the show yet? Well, I hadn't, but we do tonight. We have Jen Copeman here. Jen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good
to have you. Now, you're playing by yourself tonight, but you're also a part of a band as well.
Yeah, I play with a lot of different musicians in the area.
Yeah, and you have a band called the Jen Copeman Band. You have a CD here called Pursuit. How do people get a hold of your CD?
Basically, you got to come to a show. I also have a website, which is thecopemanband.com, and you can order it online.
Okay, and also your appearances on your website, too, where they can see you?
Yeah, it's... we usually put the calendar up there. Right now, it's kind of sporadic. It's winter, and I'm kind of taking some time to work on the next CD.
Okay. In the immediate future, you said, I think you said Friday night you're at the Blue Lounge?
Yep. We're actually calling that Iris, though, because it's a bunch of people from a band I used to be in, but it's featuring me.
Okay.
So that'll be up at the Blue Lounge starting around 9 o'clock for the sled dog races.
All right.
And then I host an open mic at the Wooden Nickel on Thursday nights, every Thursday night.
Great. All right. Well, we're happy to have you on, so we're going to let you take it over. Ladies and gentlemen, Jen Copeman.
Too much to remember. It's letting go of all these spinning plates. Get the car, come on, let's go, 'cause we're crossing states. And skies are big, horizons wide, tiptoe across the earth, 'cause she's sleeping through the night, and the clouds are gray and full of rain. look out the window, life's a moving train. When you feel the world spin beneath you, don't walk away. When you think that I can see right through you, don't turn away. When you think that there's nowhere else to turn to, get the car, 'cause we're crossing states. I'm feeling different in this day of change. Everyone's got a dollar, but they all look just the same. And time is heavy, can't sleep through the night. But the sun comes up with a coffee cup and everything seems alright. I've got a vision, oh maybe two. If you can see what I can see, I'm coming home with you. I'm taking chances, I'm taking flight. Walking past that beaten path, let's tiptoe through the night. When you feel the world spin beneath you, don't walk away. When you think that I can see right through you, don't turn away. When you think that there's nowhere else to turn to, get the car, 'cause we're crossing states. Car, come on, let's go, 'cause we're crossing states. Get the car, come on, let's go, 'cause we're crossing states. Get the car, come on, let's go, 'cause we're crossing states.
When you buy a used car, it should come with a good dose of peace of mind.
That's why at Riverside, our used car trucks come with a 2-year up to 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's why we super inspect every vehicle.
If you're tired of not finding what you want, try over 100 to choose from and another 600 a day away.
And if you're worried about price, Riverside has some of the lowest prices in the state. And our low prices come with lots of extras.
Selection, price, and warranty. Get it all at the new Riverside, Marquette.
The Doug Garrison Show is brought to you in part by Checker Transport. Now booking weddings and special events for 2012, visit checkertransport.com. And by Forsberg Flowers. Just as there's only one you, there's only one Forsberg Flowers. So when you think of flowers, think Forsberg Flowers. And by SUND Winery, featuring Marquette-made wines. Or stop in and make your own and be ready for summer. Private parties are also welcome at SUND Winery on Washington Street, above State Farm. Okay, I want to thank our guests. We had Lydia Wells from the Northern Black Student Union. Remember their mock slave auction Friday night on campus. It could be interesting. Check that out. We also had Bruce Sanders here from Catholics Returning Home and Bob Kulishek from the Kiwanis Kitty Mutt Race. Okay, also representing the City Charter Commission. But remember that Kitty Mutt Race Saturday, 11 o'clock down at the Commons. And enjoy all of Sled Dog Weekend. And again, join us here again next week. All right, before we go,
I see the world covered in shadows. I can see beyond the light. I can see I'm not the one you need, but my soul makes you cry. My heart's not always pretty. My thoughts don't always rhyme. Sometimes I flinch at my own truth. and I can't see the time.